Welcome to Contracting Conversations. My name is Scott Williams. I'm joined by my partner, Jim Valley. Today we are talking with Erin Moore, DAU's Learning Asset Manager for Con 7100, which is titled Material and Services. It's an OLT course. Welcome, Erin.
Hi, how are you today?
Very good. Hey, it's great to have you back on the podcast to talk about 7100. So to get us started, what can you tell us about 7100, the Material and Services course?
Yeah, so Con 7100 is an online learning asset, and in this asset, the students will learn about materials and services cost element. It's going to prepare the learners to analyze and assess the proposed material and service costs to determine if they're reasonable and realistic.
All right, thanks, Erin. So are there any prerequisites for this course?
No, there are no prerequisites for this course.
Erin, who's our target audience for this particular OLT?
So for this OLT, it's PCOs, procuring contracting officers, contract specialists, and price analysts who analyze proposals using cost analysis. But honestly, it also would be helpful for anybody that analyzes materials and services cost elements, which would include your technical folks.
All right, thanks, Erin. So what can a student expect from a course structure perspective on this online course?
For this course, we have 3 modules. In it, we talk about the foundation. So in that, we talk about what is cost and price reasonableness, right? Because that's the most important aspect. That's what we're trying to determine for the materials and services. Are these costs reasonable and realistic? So we want to make sure we understand what it means for a cost and a price to be reasonable and realistic, right? So then we go through what are the different material cost elements and what are those different service cost elements. And then we go through a module that talks about the critical analyses that we should be doing when we're evaluating the materials and the service cost elements. We go through conducting preliminary reviews of these costs, analyzing the summary estimates, analyzing detailed quantity estimates, analyzing unit cost estimates, and then most importantly, establishing the government's pre-negotiation position, because that's kind of our end goal. And then from there, we're going to go into the last module, which is your advanced topics. And in those advanced topics, we're going to go through inter-organizational transfers and subcontracting and then government furnished property. Because those 3, the inter-organizational transfers, subcontracting, and government furnished properties, those are always something that people tend to struggle a little bit with. So we want to make sure that we touch upon those and really kind of dig into what it is that we're looking for and how to best analyze those in determining whether or not those costs are reasonable.
Okay, Erin, just one last thing. How many CLPs should someone receive?
Oh, yes. There's 7 CLPs for this course.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, Erin, really quickly, students always like to know how they're assessed in a particular course. So when they take this OLT, what do they need to do to pass it?
Yeah, so this OLT will have your typical knowledge reviews as you go out through the different modules. And then at the very end, there is a final exam. And the final exam consists of 45 questions, which you will need an 80% to pass the course.
Great. Thanks, Erin.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, Erin, before I let you go, is there anything else you want to mention about this course?
Nope, I highly recommend it. And it's one of the key cost elements that you'll find in Table 15.2. That's one of the required elements that the contractor will have to provide. And so when you go through and you do your different cost analysis and you do your reviews, this is going to be one of the cost elements that you will be reviewing. So if you're doing a proposal that has materials and has services or subcontractors in it, this course will be really helpful in evaluating those costs during that review.
All right, outstanding, Erin. Thank you so much for coming on to the show today.
Yes, thank you for having me again.
Thank you guys for being out here listening to this podcast on Con 7100, the Material and Services OLT course. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, either at DAU Media, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, or all 3 if that's how you want to do it. We look forward to having future contracting conversations with you.